I live my life one day at a time. A good portion of those days are uneventful, always falling into the same routine. I wake up, walk to work, walk home, and then bum around until I go to bed. Sometimes I'll hang with a few of my friends, while other times I'll just play video games or watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Every so often, something new and interesting happens. I meet an old friend, I find $1 on the ground, or I get chased by a stray dog. Living in a dying city isn't very fun or interesting. This city was once full of life and color, but now most of the houses are sagging, the businesses sit empty and abandoned, and several open fields lie barren of the once great factories that helped drive the economy. I'd never seen this city during those times in person, but I've seen pictures. My mother and father lived happy, and they could only wish the same for me growing up. Sadly, I cannot say I have achieved that wish of theirs. I've fallen into the same dull routine. Wake, work, sleep, repeat. I do have some moments of bliss, but the daily struggles I go through outweigh the small moments of joy I have. My Little Pony has helped, but it's still just another thing to give my hopes up on. Every time I see the show or one of the ponies on a fan site, I recoil a bit at the bright colors, the joyful faces of the ponies, and the peaceful scenery in their world. It's so hard to look at that beautiful world, having it so close to my grasp. I reach out to touch its warm colors and bright, smiling faces of the ponies, only to be stopped by my computer screen. I snapped back to reality. It gets to the point where I will simply shut down my computer and walk away. I do that a lot, especially after my parents' deaths. I go for a walk. When I feel sad, I walk. When I feel tired, I walk. When I feel like walking, I walk. Walking has become my second life in a sense. I spend at least half of my day outside along the crumbling sidewalks and decaying suburbs. I've only seen people come and go. I've seen buildings torn down, burned up, or have so much graffiti on its walls that its original colors is unrecognizable. I very rarely pass any other people in my strolls. Most people don't like to look at their once beautiful city, their homes, or former businesses. I don't blame them. In fact, I envy them. They saw this place with their own two eyes, seeing the buildings still standing tall and proud, the lawns freshly cut, the paved roads, and the sidewalks still intact. The only thing I've ever seen that even comes close is my mother's paintings, each of them colorful scenes of this concrete world. She started painting once everything crumbled beneath her feet, making the sad scenery before her look beautiful. Her masterpiece is of an open field that yielded a parking garage. Over it, she drew an amazing rainbow. It's my favorite picture. I guess that's part of why I like Rainbow Dash the most out of all the other ponies. Her colors, the amazing sonic rainbow, all remind me of that picture. There have been times I wished I had my own Rainbow Dash, or more realistically a plushie of her, to curl up in bed with. I've made an old Simba into a temporary replacement until I'm able to save enough money for one. It helps, in a way. Like, holding it close will heal my wounds, my pain, and my sorrow. My feet, after countless hours of walking in my old shoes, pulsate under the sheet. And all the while, I'll hold that stuffed animal harder than a mother protecting her child. It's the only thing I can look at and feel true joy. Even if it isn't physically the Rainbow Dash I want. It'll have to do. Today, as usual, I walked to work. It was the same shit, just a different day. Watching the same people enter the store, grab their merchandise and pay, then walk out with bags in tow. My shift ended after several hours of this. I clocked out and started walking home. I decided to use a different route this time for a change in pace, a little something different from the normal path I walk. This part of town was hit the worst. Only a few houses still stand and none of them occupied. It truly is a sad sight to see. Then again, it's really the only sight to see. The only sight I'll ever see. Or so I thought. Living in this kind of area, I see trash all the time. Boxes, McDonald's cups, and plastic bags litter the streets and empty fields, but rarely will I see a cardboard box that isn't crushed in one way or another. I noticed this particular box because it happened to be in my way. During my younger years, I tried to do what I could for the community. I'd pick up trash when I saw it, or I'd attempt to help my neighbors. It was a losing battle. Nowadays, I'd given up on any hope of cleaning this city, much less my neighborhood. Now, I'll just pass the trash by, letting it blow away in the breeze or sit there and decompose. I let what's left of the people do their own thing, since most of them don't care about anybody other than themselves. Why should I be any different? I walked past the box, barely giving it a glance. Nothing about it caught my attention right away. I continued on my way home, not far away now. Upon arriving, I sat down and played some games, attempting to push the box out of my mind. I had little luck, as the box somehow managed to push its way back in. Time crept on by, and I soon found myself waiting to go for another walk. I left my house and started down my usual route when I stopped. What was it about that box that made it stick out in my mind? I turned around, starting down the path I had taken to get home, the path that I only walk once in a blue moon. Curiosity got the best of me, and I wanted some closure. This is where I currently stand, looking into the box at a small something. No, I know exactly what it is, but my brain isn't allowing me to fully realize it just yet. At first I want to say it's simply a toy, left to die along with all the other things in this block. But then I saw it breathing. In fact, it appears to be sleeping. My hands are sweating, my breathing's erratic, and I'm blinking my eyes trying to refresh my vision. Each time the image stays the same. Inside is a sleeping, Philly rainbow dash. I kneel down and try to get a closer look into the box. I can't believe what I'm seeing. There's not a physical, mental, or extraterrestrial way this could be here. How she could be here in my gloomy, dark, and horrid world. The first thought that runs through my mind, besides the initial Philly rainbow dashes in a box, is who would give up a Philly rainbow dash? My mind is now a mess of questions. How did she get here? Why is she here? Why is she a Philly? I mean, her flank is even barren of her cutie mark, meaning she is indeed a Philly. As I stand up to stretch my tired legs, I accidentally bump the side of the box with my foot, and the inevitable occurs. She wakes up. Those large, black eyes, along with those rose-colored rims around them, drive my heart to, as the meme goes, explode twice. The sheer cuteness of it all drives me to kneel back down, and I can't hold back a smile. I haven't smiled like this in years, since the last time me and my parents went out to the only remaining park in the area. I don't know what to say or what to do, but I must start somewhere. Hi there! What are you doing out here? The more I study her, the more I realize she's really young. Years younger than her Philly appearance in episode 23. She might not even be able to talk yet. That is, if she can even talk in my world. The fact that she's even existing right now has me reeling in confusion. I return my attention back to her and notice a small shiver of her body. The fall season is here and it can get pretty cold, especially around mid-September. I'm not sure how to exactly tackle this situation. Do I take her home? Do I call somebody? Who would I even call? I'm a closet brony, so none of my friends know about my love of the show. I can't take her to a shelter. That's a stupid thought in the first place. Not only would it be a horrible sight, she might be taken off to some lab and experimented on, or something just as equally horrible. I have only one choice. That's the final straw. I can't take any more. It's alright. Let's get you somewhere warmer, huh? Don't worry. I'm not gonna hurt you. It's getting late and you'll freeze out here. I think she understands me. For after I say those words, her eyes return to their normal size and she snuggles herself more comfortably inside my jacket. She squirms a little, trying to get into a more comfortable position. I can feel her hooves and wings poking at me as she shifts. Then, to top it off, she rests her chin on my arm and lets out a deep sigh, closing her eyes to drift off to sleep. My heart explodes for a third time. The entire walk back, I keep an eye out for other people who could pass me by. I don't want anybody else to see her. I have no way of knowing how they would react. As usual, though, I don't see a single person. It's midnight by the time I got home. Fortunately for both of us, I turned on my porch light, otherwise I might have passed it. Being one of the few occupied homes on the block meant a lot of darkness. The city even stopped running power to the streetlights, so that made it all the more difficult. Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. I know they aren't there, but knowing that they loved me and that I loved them, it helps me stay sane and keeps me going in my miserable life. As I enter the living room, I can feel stirring in my arm. She had woken up, most likely when I turned on the light, and is now getting antsy. With no idea of what to do or how to tackle the situation, I set her down on the couch. What are you doing here in my world? I didn't mean to ask that out loud, but it just sort of happens every now and then. Only seeing my few friends once in a great while, I find myself talking to, well, myself a lot. I don't own a pet because that just means more money to dish out and I'm already struggling as it is. Are you lost? Oh. Well, until something happens, I guess you can stay with me. Don't worry. I'm sure whatever brought you here will fix itself within time. We just gotta wait. Is that alright? I'm not sure why I asked that, but it seems to do the trick. The next few hours are spent giving her the grand tour of my house. Nothing amazing to see, and I avoid taking her into my bedroom out of fear that the large amount of dirty clothes would swallow her up. Afterwards, I give her something to eat. Since she's still a filly, I wasn't sure if she could eat solid foods such as carrots yet. Then again, she is from a cartoon, so I don't know what is correct for her anyway. Satisfied with the food, she finds a comfy spot in my father's recliner and sits. I don't mind, it's not like I sit in it. I was never allowed to when he was alive, so why should that change even after his passing? It's his chair. But I'm not going to be mean to the filly for not knowing that, so I let her sit where she's most comfortable. I also give her a small blanket to wrap herself in due to my house's current temperature. It's not as cold as it is outside, but my furnace has had its problems since before my parents' passing. There was a trick to fixing it, but that died along with my father. I must have fallen asleep at some point. I honestly expected myself to be wide awake due to such an interesting event, but after the long hours at work and staying up to take care of Dash, my body had other plans. I'm not sure how long I was out before I awoke, but it doesn't matter. As I close my eyes, I feel something against my side. I look down, and sleeping beside me is the small Cheyenne filly. Her rainbow mane and tail still, her head resting on the inside of my elbow. I know the meme gets old, but I must say it. My heart exploded again. Laying there, sleeping and curled up beside me, had me smiling ear to ear. Her gentle breaths are barely heard. The hairs on her mane tickle my arm, but I hold back any movement to itch. The warmth of her body against my stomach warms my already weak heart. Though a few months isn't a long time, it's how long I've wanted a moment like this. My own little pony, a Rainbow Dash plushie to sleep with and hold tight. And now, I have a real Rainbow Dash, a filly sleeping at my side, content as though she's known me since birth. Right now, there's nothing else that matters to me. My despair, my sore feet, and painful heart all go unnoticed as nothing else can come remotely close to the feeling I have right now. This joy I'm experiencing at this moment as I lay awake on my couch. She's here. She's real. Right now, she's my little pony. She's my little Dashie. It's been only 4 months since I brought the young Rainbow Dash into my home. I've done what little research I could on the matter, but I've come to no conclusions. I have no idea why she's here, and quite frankly, I don't even care anymore. These few months with her have been the most amazing time of my life. She's opened up my heart up to love and joy, among other things. Right now, she sits next to me on the couch as I watch television. She seems to enjoy the morning cartoons on the local stations, and I myself have come to enjoy them. She acts much like a young child would. Then again, why wouldn't she? Another amazing feat is that she's been learning to talk. I'm not much of a teacher, or for that matter a parent, but I'm doing my best to help her learn to speak and read. I don't know how or even where to begin to attempt in teaching her to write. From the show they did it with their mouths, but I'll let that go for now. Once she's a little older, if I even have her that long, I'll do what I can to teach her. It used to be that a year would go by slowly. I would look forward to the new year in hopes of getting a fresh start. Now, though, I feel as if this year went by a little too quickly for me. I've decided, since I have no knowledge of her actual birth date, to make the day I found her her birthday. September the 17th. Oddly enough, that's the very same date that the second season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic aired last year. I quit watching the show after Dashie came into my life. There was no reason for me to continue, and honestly, I don't have much time to myself anymore. It would be hard to hide me watching the show, and even harder to explain the situation if she were to ever see it, especially at her current age. She knew her name was Rainbow Dash, but I've come to calling her Pinky's pet name of Dashie, and she has no problem with it. She can fully communicate with me now, as well as read English, and she's even starting to learn how to write with, you guessed it, her mouth. I tried to invent some devices for her hoofs so she could write, but it seems writing with her mouth is more natural than moving her hoof around. One thing now troubles me with her. Every day she sits at a window looking outside. I'm not worried about her being seen by passerbys. I'm on a dead-end street, so that's the least of my worries. Still, though she doesn't have to say anything to me yet, I can see the hunger for fresh air in her eyes. I can't keep her in here her entire life. I keep talking like she's going to be here forever. That isn't true. One day, someday, she will return home, whether it be a simple poof and she's gone, or through some magical spell and Twilight shows up and takes her home to fix everything. In my heart, I hope that never happens. In my head, I know it will. It's just a matter of when. I do hope to get her outside soon. I've been checking out some of the abandoned lots and former parks on my walks to and from work, seeing where the best location would be to take her. Oddly enough, it seems the park I had played at growing up is the best option. That shall be it then. I shall take her to the park. How will I get her there? She's still relatively small, so she can be hidden inside a jacket or something. Tomorrow is supposed to be a nice day anyways. She did it. After 2 years in my care and having absolutely no knowledge of flight myself, I helped her learn to fly. She's gotten quite big in only a couple years, and it was getting hard to hide her when we walked to the park. I got so desperate to keep her hidden, I bought a dog costume for her to put on so she could walk there unnoticed. She was not happy. So I got some books from the library and read up on teaching birds to fly. I would have looked on the internet, but I fear she would have become curious of it herself. There are a lot of horrors on the internet, and she's not ready for it. In hindsight, it's bad enough she's experiencing television, but she's come to enjoy SpongeBob and NASCAR too much for me to take that away from her. Back to flying. I've been taking her to that old park for weeks in the hopes I could help her learn how to fly. There's this large tree there with branches sticking out over the sandbox. The perfect spot for her to practice. If she falls and I can't catch her, at least she'll have something remotely soft to land on. She fell a lot. I knew she would fall a lot. There were many scrapes, cuts, and bruises toward her goal, but finally, after many weeks of work, she flew. It was only a short distance, about 50 feet, but she still did it. She's a little scraped up, but she's beaming with pride. Maybe now she could fly overhead so that the few people on the ground don't notice her. I'll have to see if she can manipulate clouds like she could in the show. It would make it much easier for her to take her places. Then she can hide in the cloud and we can go to the park. Another thing is brought to my attention. She asked me about having her own room. I got to thinking and realized the house does have a spare bedroom, though my parents had filled it with my old school stuff from my younger years, as well as several of my old toys. She might enjoy them, though she is getting older and I'm not sure how entertaining they'll be for her. If she has her own room, I can get her own things so that she can feel somewhat normal. She's pretty smart for a filly and knows about the difference between our species, but she still knows nothing about her origin. She's not ready yet. The only thing I can do is keep her happy. I only wish I had a way to buy her the things she wants. If you told me 4 years ago I'd be taking care of a cartoon rainbow-colored pony, I'd probably call you insane. I mean, in all reality, I probably am, but I don't care. I'm happy. She's happy. Besides, today is a day for celebration. For today, my little Dashie got her cutie mark. I honestly didn't know how to tackle that fact. I mean, she didn't even know what it was until I explained it to her. Now, she's even more ecstatic than before. It was a normal park outing, but this time she decided she wanted to see how high she could fly. I had limited her to how high she could fly, but honestly I can't do anything about what she does up there. I can't fly, so the most I could do is tell her to be careful. Somewhere she got it in her head to see just how fast she could fly, probably due to her being a NASCAR and, well, a general racing fan. For some time she was trying to make up tricks and stunts of her own, giving them names. I'd just sit back on a bench I had fixed up and cheer her on. No one was ever around anymore, and in fact, on that block I think the last person left over a year ago. There are rumors the entire area is going to be bought out by some company, however, and all this turned into a large manufacturing area. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's not important right now. Right now I'm so overcome with joy that my Dashie now knows her place. Granted, this isn't her world. She's still the same Rainbow Dash from the show. Regardless of how I raised her, she has the same spunk and attitude from the show. And now, she has her cutie mark. Anyway, she climbed to quite a height in an attempt to gain speed from a fall. I quickly rounded her up and we rushed home before anyone could arrive at the park. I was lucky none of my windows were broken. The rest of the day was spent celebrating. It just so happened today was her 4th birthday. I have no way of knowing how old she actually was when I got her, so I just started over. I would have bought a cake, but due to the boom, all the businesses were closed and needed new windows. So we made a cake on our own. Apparently the fanfiction writers got it right. She can't bake at all. Granted, I'm not the best myself, but it was still a mess. But we had fun, she enjoyed herself, and she's happy. Therefore, I'm happy. Though that was her highlight of the day, mine was just moments ago. She's now come accustomed to sleeping in her own room versus with me out on the couch. I actually stopped sleeping in my room and kept her company in the living room up until recently. Now I can sleep in my own bed once more, but I keep my door unlocked, so if she needs me, she can get me. I just tucked her into bed when she said it.
Good night, Daddy. I love you.
I haven't been on the internet in, 3 years now? I don't know how the My Little Pony thing online is doing, or what memes are still alive or not, but damn it all, I'm gonna say it right now because it's true. My heart exploded twice. For the first time, not only did she call me Daddy, which she has done on occasion, but she even said, I love you. For a moment, I didn't know what to say or what to do. I've never been in this sort of situation before. But I remembered what my mother and father used to do. Good night, my little Dashie. I love you too. I haven't moved for an hour now, and so lost in thought. The few times she had called me Daddy, I didn't really think anything of it. I could picture why she called me that. Being with her so much made me accept it as part of taking care of her. But tonight, when she said those 3 words, the realization finally sunk into my heart. I'm her daddy. She considers me her daddy, and quite frankly, I consider her my daughter. Even though we're of totally different species, I still love her with all my heart. And it's taken her to speak those words to me for me to finally realize that. I think I've finally done it. I've broken my hard shell that formed when my parents died. I've let a sweet little filly into my life. I gave her a home to live in, food to eat, and now a daddy to love. She's given me hope, love, compassion, and now something I thought I'd never utter. A daughter. I still speculate when the time is going to arise that she goes back to Equestria. And each day it gets harder for me to imagine when that actually happens. I hope that she never forgets me, because I'll never forget her. I believe Dashie is now at her full size. Rounding in at about 3 feet tall, she's fully grown. Though she's still only 10 years old according to my math, I believe she's actually more along the lines of 14 or 15 possibly in actual years. So we celebrated 5 missed birthdays and officially moving day. That's right, moving day. We moved from my parents' house thanks to me finally saving up enough money, plus getting lucky at a casino. We bought a nice house 100 miles away from the city. It's got a lot of open land, and there isn't another house within 5 miles. It's just me and her. Now she can fly around all she wants, whenever she wants. She's truly happy, though she does miss the old park. It's gone now, along with anything else left in the area. A large business bought up all the land, flattened it, and built a large factory there. It was an amazing boom to the economy, and people are starting to build homes again. I'm glad, but it just wasn't for us. That amount of people would hinder her going outside, and I'm not going to force her to stay inside all day unless it's raining out. I've gotten a new job, one that pays much more than my old one. Dashie even talked about getting a job, but then she remembered what I told her. The look on her face was heartbreaking. We were enjoying a cake we made, which, I must add, we have improved upon that skill, when she brought it up. I jokingly said she can't due to her being a pony, and I laughed. She remained silent. My God, I'm horrible. I just laughed because my daughter's different. I apologized for hours, and even though she says she understands, I know she's still hurt. Luckily, I've found a way to fix this. Due to the sheer size of the property, it involves a lot of cutting grass. Tomorrow, I will modify a lawnmower for her to use so that she can have a job. I'll even pay her so that she can buy her own stuff if she wants. Though I'd have to get it for her. She can still technically say she's worked for something. According to the show, she was a weather pony, and I don't have her mess with Mother Nature unless it's a dire emergency, so there isn't really any job to be had there. I still can't believe I've had her for 10 years now. My God. Time goes so fast. I wish it would slow down so that I could have more time with her. I don't know when, but I have the sudden feeling our time together is running out. All of this has been too good to be true.
New iPhone.
From Mom. Are there any left?
There may be one. Okay, it's $500, you have no choice of carrier, the battery can't hold a charge, and the reception isn't very—
Shut up and take my money!
Oh no, there's a bear in my bed!
Nope. Chuck Testa.
Coming up next on The Hub is a special episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, starring Rainbow Dash, the fastest Pegasus in Ponyville.
Now, what have we learned?
Lots of control,
Good.
screaming and hollering,
Yes, and most importantly,
passion.
right. So now that you know the elements of a good cheer, let's hear one.
Today has to have been the worst time of my life, even more than when my parents died. Due to events I could not prepare for, Dashie found out the truth before I could tell her myself. She knows what she is, a made-up cartoon character from a kid's television show. She's mad. No. Upset beyond all thought. She locked herself in her room, but I know my daughter. She didn't stay there long. She opened her window and flew off, probably into a tree to sulk in her sorrow. I'm a monster. I should have told her sooner. I wasn't sure when would be the right time. Now we're both suffering for my carelessness. I thought getting cable would be a good thing. Give her some more shows to watch, but What I didn't realize was that we got the hub station. I wasn't even aware it was still up, and find my surprise that the show My Little Pony is still even airing. It had stopped at 8 seasons, but it was repeated. I remember I walked in from work with some groceries, set them into the kitchen, and walked into the living room. That's when I saw it.
How long have you known about this? How long have you known about this?
This was the first time in all these years she had raised her voice to me, and I deserved every bit of it. So I sat down, turned off the television, and told her everything. I told her about the show, about finding her, and answered any other questions she had for me. There were a lot. Most of them stemmed from the show, to which I simply told her what I truly believed. That though she is the Rainbow Dash from the show, that she herself is a different pony from the cartoon. I tried to explain it to her, but her bullheadedness took over as she continued to lash at me. I took it all. I deserved it all. I've been keeping that horrible secret from her for far too long. She's now a fully grown mare capable of taking care of herself if she were in Equestria. Here, I still treat her like she was my little filly. It's been wrong of me, but I couldn't help it. I didn't want this to ever happen, but I knew it would. I should have done what was right, but I didn't. It was only a matter of time before she found out, and she knew she was different. After our argument, she flew upstairs into her bedroom and slammed her door. I checked on her an hour later, and no response told me she had flown off. I can only hope that she comes back, or at least if she doesn't, she stays away from other people. If anything, I hope some sort of portal opens up and she can go back to her world, and never has to think of me again. All I can say to her at this point is that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's been 3 days since Dashie left. The night of her departure, I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I went for a walk. I wasn't sure where I was going or how long I had walked, but that's what I did. I walked. Now, 3 days later, I'm finding myself out here walking once again. I've been out here for roughly 3 hours, and though it's only 5 in the afternoon, it's grown dark. A storm is brewing, and soon I'll be hit by the brunt of it. I turn around and begin my walk home, though I don't rush. My energy these past few days has been non-existent. I've barely eaten anything more than some toast. I feel so lost as I walk through the woods that surround my house. No, our house. It's as much hers as it is mine. Nothing will change that. The distant memories of all my pain and sorrow before Dashie began to seep back into my mind. I haven't had these thoughts in years. And the pats of water on the tree leaves help keep me distracted. It's a peaceful sound, one you would never hear in the city. The rain's picking up. I'm sure I'll be sick tomorrow morning, but I don't care. I've been sick for 3 days now. Mental illness that's been tearing me apart. My daughter is somewhere out here hurting, needing some comfort and warmth in this rain. I wish I could be there for her, even though she may not want me to. She may not ever want to see me again for how she acted. I don't blame her. It must be such a horrible thing finding out your past like that. I can't even imagine what it would be like. I know Dashie is a strong man, she can pull through, but I also know she holds a grudge at times. I'm not sure that even if she did come back, she would ever forgive me. More importantly, if I could even forgive myself. This is the kind of tree I'd imagine Dashie would hide under in this rain. I wish it to be true, but I saw no sign of her. I need to take a break, so I walk under the tree and sit down. And the grass is barely wet, with only a few small droplets making their ways down.
How long have you known about this? How long have you known about this? Known about this? Known about this?
I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry, Dashie.
I hurt you. And I'm sorry too.
Dashie, you have nothing to be sorry about. It's my fault, simple as that.
you still love me?
Of course I do, Dashie. I've always loved you. I still love you no matter what. Not even a small fight like ours can ever change that. We continue to apologize, me for the truth and her for raising her voice and storming out. After some time, the rain subsides while we remain under the tree.
Dad,
Yeah?
can we go home now? I need a shower bad.
We make our trip back home. She's smiling again. I am too. I've been giving it some thought, and I think I'm gonna give her her birthday present a little early. A ticket to the Indy 500. Yeah, I'm taking her to the Indy 500. And she can simply sit on some clouds and watch while I'm in the stands. It didn't even have to get her a ticket, but she needs some sort of reminder of her visit. I'm sure she'll have a blast. Though I don't expect this to make everything right, I can only hope it cheers her up some. With some time, I'm sure she'll relax and settle down about her being in the cartoon. I mean, she's a smart mare, and she knows she's real, not that made-up pony from the cartoon. I can only help push her to believing that, and hope that she does the same to me. There's a point in every parent's life when they have to let their child go, whether it be for the better or for the worst. It must happen at some point. I now sit here in my living room by myself, sulking over the photographs of my distant memories of me and Dashie. On her 20th birthday, I had planned a special outing to go see a flight show. As we prepared to leave, there was a knocking on the door. Never in the years we have lived here had anybody knocked at the door. Hell, we hadn't even made arrangements if someone did show up. I simply told her to go to her room while I took care of it. Once I heard the door shut calmly and collectively, I asked who it was knocking, expecting some stranger, possibly lost on his or her travels. A female voice spoke in such an elegant yet attention-grabbing tone, I felt myself listening to her with the uttermost attention. She asked if she may come in, a question I'd normally refuse with a heartbeat, yet something about her voice was reminiscent. I couldn't help but walk over and open the door. When I first saw the figure standing on my porch, I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or hallucinating. Standing there was the radiant and majestic Princess Celestia. I was at a loss for words, fighting both emotions of brony excitement, which I had only felt when I first found Dashie, and emotions of sorrow for what I knew this meant. I stepped back and allowed her to enter. What caught me off guard next was the 5 other ponies that followed suit. First Twilight Sparkle, then the rest of the gang. Applejack, Rarity, Fluttershy, and lastly, Pinkie Pie.
Ooh! So this is what an alien house looks like on the inside. Oh my! You have a kitchen! I'm starving! Are you starving? I can make you some...
Easy there, Sugar Cube. We're just here for Rainbow, so we ain't got no time for any eating. No matter how hungry we are.
We have some leftovers from dinner last night. You're more than welcome to some.
I'll go keep an eye on her. I'm quite surprised. I'd expected a little more resistance to us entering.
Why? I know who you all are.
Ah, so you do know then.
That you're fictional characters from a children's TV show? Then yes. Otherwise, why you're here, I have no idea.
Oh, I think you do know.
My heart fell into the pits of my stomach. I did know, and she was straight to the point about it. During all these years, I had anticipated this moment, but as time drug on, that thought slowly dispelled until it was just nothing more than a minor nip in my mind. Then it always happens, you know. When everything is finally perfect and you don't have to worry anymore.
Excuse me, sir, but from what we could figure out, Rainbow Dash should be here. Is she?
She's upstairs in her room.
In her room?
Yeah, Dashie's in her room. I wasn't sure who was knocking and didn't want her to be spotted.
Dashie? My, you're that friendly with her already?
I wanted to punch that pony so hard right then. How she responded insulted me. Friendly? That's not even the beginning of it. And I should be asking you ponies as to what the hell you did!
You see, my student...
I know who she is. Get to the chase.
Yes, of course. She was working on a spell to help the weather team with some storm development. Well, they made slightly too large of a storm, and then Twilight used her magic to try and dispel it. It shot a lightning bolt meeting her magic. Rainbow Dash was unfortunate enough to be within reach of the blast, and it engulfed her and sent her to... well, here. So, we're here to retrieve her. Simple enough, I'd imagine.
Dad, is everything all right?
Excuse me, Sugar Cube. Did I just hear Rainbow Dash call y'all Dad? Do you care to explain?
I'll be right down with her.
Dad?
Yeah, Dashie, I'm coming up. We need to talk. So that's what I did. I told her who was down there and that they were there to take her back. She had seen the cartoon every so often after some time and found the wacky adventures entertaining. She had given up any thought that the Rainbow Dash in the show was her and only viewed it as another cartoon. As I talked to her and explained that those very ponies she didn't believe in were downstairs, she brushed me off with some laughs. She didn't believe me and thought I was playing some joke on her. So I took her down into the living room.
Dashie!
Hey, get away from me!
You don't recognize me, do you?
No, or any of you.
It hurt me in so many ways. I knew these were her friends, but so many things have happened differently that she didn't know the truth fully. And neither did they. So I had to explain to them. Dashie, take a seat, please, so I can talk to them. How long ago was she sent over here?
About 15 days ago. Why?
Well, it's been a lot more time than that here.
How long?
15 years.
That don't explain why she don't know us.
Well, that's the thing. When I found her, she was a filly.
Come again?
From my math, I think she was no older than 4 or 5 years old.
You mean to tell us that you've been taking care of Rainbow Dash for 15 years, since she was a small filly?
She's... I know it's not true. God, I wish it was, but...
I understand. The dad now makes sense.
Celestia was thinking, trying to piece together in her mind what had possibly happened. I chalked it up to the magic being unstable, possibly reverted her in age.
So, what's supposed to happen now?
Well, it's quite simple. Twilight? Do you still remember that memory spell from the Discord incident?
I knew what was going on, what Celestia had in mind. She wanted Twilight to either erase her memories and start from anew, or possibly... I hope she just simply wanted to give Dashie her memories of their friendships and time in Ponyville. I wasn't sure what to do. I felt it was right. I knew it was right and needed to be done. I had been telling myself that for 15 years as I waited for this moment. But there was something I needed to say before it happened. These ponies were going to take my Dashie away, and I had some words to speak before that could happen. No! Wait, please. Just give me a moment with her, please. All I ask. Since this is the last time we'll see each other. Dashie. My little Dashie. I love you with all my heart. You have done wonders to open me up from the man I once was. You have brought me so much joy in my life that I can't possibly ever thank you for. These 15 years we've had together, talking, playing, flying, all those have been so special to me. I just want you to know that I will forever love you. It doesn't matter if we aren't biologically related or of different worlds. I don't care what you may ever think of me, or even if you don't remember me. But right now, you being my little Dashie, I want you to know that fact.
Dad! Do I have to go, Daddy? Do I have to go?
It's your actual home, Dashie.
need to go back to where you belong. I belong here with you! No, you don't. You're limited here. You're only able to fly around the house. You have no friends or other ponies to relate to. I was only taking care of you until this time would come, but I never thought it would be this painful. I remained quiet for a few more minutes as we held each other tight. She didn't fight back or want to resist what was happening, but she told me she knew what must be done. I love you, Daddy. And I love you too, my little Dashie. I knew it was coming. It hurt so much, but I knew it was right. It was what had to happen for her friends, in a twisted way for me. Now I could know she was actually going home and would be around her friends, could fly wherever and whenever she wanted to without limitations. She could enjoy her friends' company once more. Wait! Before I go, I want to get something. She looked back to me, still crying but with a smile on her face. I knew she had realized this was how it must end, and knew that I knew that as well. The box, from my guessing, was probably her most cherished items that she kept for if she had to leave. Though it hurt me thinking about it, I hope she had a picture of us. Then again, I also hoped not. I didn't want her to be forced to remember my world anyway, and that hurt me just as much as everything else.
I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash. I honestly wish there was another way to do this. I wish I didn't have to do this, but...
Can't he come with me?
Rainbow Dash, he cannot join you in our world, much like how you cannot stay in his. This was all never meant to be, and the world around us was not made to house you. And yet, something beautiful happened here. Something I cannot explain in full. When I realized where you ended up, I expected the worst. I figured you to be ruined, tainted and tarnished from this world's cruelty. But now, I see that it's quite the opposite. That here, this man that has raised you, shows me that you were in good hooves. Or hands, as it were. I cannot speak for you, but from what I see in front of me, the amount of love you both share and have shared together tells me that you raised her as if she was your own. Even with the obvious differences, you still raised her unbiased as to her species, her origins. You raised her as your daughter, which only makes this entire ordeal so much worse. So I must say to you, dear sir, please do not hold my student accountable for this. It was never her or any pony else's intention to cause this much hurt to either of you. If you must blame some pony, I would ask that you blame me. I am the one that helped bring them here, to take Rainbow Dash back to our home. Away from here.
Just... How could I blame some pony for sending Rainbow Dash here? These have been the best 15 years of my life. So if anything, I feel quite the opposite. I wish to thank you, Twilight, and the rest of you. Thank you for what you did, though not intentional. Thank you for all that came out of this. And finally, thank you for all of my years, my life, and my love with Dashie.
No need for thanks, good sir. Instead, I wish to thank you for taking care of one of my little ponies. She would have never made it without someone much like yourself. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, darling, for caring for our Rainbow Dash.
Thank you. Thanks!
Are you ready now, Rainbow?
love you too.
I stood in the living room for several more minutes, just staring blankly at the empty floor that Dashie had been standing at just moments before. Then I looked around the room and took notice of my surroundings. I noticed things were different. Pictures that once held images of me and Dashie no longer hung from the walls. I was confused, so I ran up to her bedroom to look. When I opened the door, what I saw instead of her NASCAR and airshow posters mixed with her bed and other furnishings was a simple office. It took me some time to digest what I was experiencing before I realized what must have happened. It made sense, but it still stung me in the chest. And to make sure nothing happened between worlds, Celestia must have removed any existence of Dashie ever being here. Being with me. 15 years old down the drain as her existence was wiped from the planet. I felt as though all those years were for naught. Wasted as I wouldn't be able to remember her. And yet my memories still lingered of her. I could remember everything as if it were still as vivid as when they happened. Then the thought clicked. She did something with her magic when she touched me with her horn. Did she protect my memories so that I would remember her? Had she done the same for Dashie? I walked back downstairs and into the living room while I thought. On the coffee table sat a book. I recognized it. It was my photo album. I sat down on my couch, opened it up to the first page. There was my mother and father with me shortly after I was born. I continued flipping through them, looking at my own past. There was a gap after my parents died, but to keep my mother's dream going, I had picked it back up, making false pictures of happy times and enjoying my life to stick into her book of memories. Then I opened up to a piece of paper. I picked it up and immediately recognized the handwriting, or more correct, mouth writing. I speculated that this is what she had written down before she left.
Dad, for 15 years you took care of me. For 15 years you loved me, played with me, and made sure I enjoyed my life in a world not meant to house me. I'm not a man of many words, but even though I told you this in person, I feel you needed a written version of it, so you'll know it was all real. I love you, Daddy. You helped shape me into the mayor I am now. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, if I will remember any of this or not, but I want you to know that you did a darn good job of raising me. Even if I was a bit stubborn at times or short with you during others. With Celestia's permission, I hope to allow you to keep our photos, our memories, with you so that you will never forget. Again, I love you. And thank you. Your little daughter always. Your little Dashie forever. Rainbow Dash.
I read the note over and over again until I had it memorized. Then I turned the page and was greeted with Dashie's filious smile. So now I sit here, looking through my photo album of our time together. Her first words, her first drawing, even her first preened feather, all in this book of memories. Everything in the house is gone, but what I had put into this book still remains. I don't dare ever change that either. But I will continue to add to it, to show that those years with her helped not only shape herself, but helped shape me as well. I'm a new man from what I was 15 years ago. Changed. Given another chance by a sheer miracle of fortunate events that transpired from somewhere I can't even speculate. If I had never gone back and checked that box, if I had done something different than I had, it could have changed everything between us. I guess I'm lucky that it all worked out. I can gladly say I have achieved my parents' only wish, for me to be happy. Though I'm saddened, I'm still happy for the time I had with her. I now sit alone in this empty house, staring at my mother's rainbow picture with a smile plastered on my face. Every time I see it, I think of Dashie. I should be crying. I should feel horrible and want nothing but my daughter back. And yet, I feel relieved to know that everything is all right. She didn't run away or leave on bad terms. She's gone, home to where she belongs, and she's safe. I look back down to my photo album, turning to the page of our most recent photo. The pages are blank. I still have a lot of life ahead of me, and I plan to make the best of it. For myself. For my little Dashie.
Whoa, that's a full rainbow, all the way, double rainbow, oh my god, double rainbow, it's a double rainbow, all the way, damn, it's a double rainbow, all the way, damn, oh my god, what does this mean? It's so bright, it's so vivid, double rainbow, it's so intense. What does this mean? It's starting to look like a triple rainbow. That's a full rainbow now. Double rainbow all the way across the sky. Yeah, yeah, so intense. Double rainbow all the way across the sky.